What if I told you that trying to make your product do everything is the fastest way to make it do nothing well? Today, I'm exposing one of the most dangerous pieces of startup advice that's floating around everywhere and why it's probably killing your business before it even gets started. I'm Ewonia Obed, and this is Startup Experiment Diary, where we test real strategies so you don't have to learn the hard way. Here's a piece of advice I see everywhere. Make your product comprehensive and feature-rich to succeed. Build everything your customer could possibly need in one place. Why would they go anywhere else, right? It sounds brilliant, it sounds logical, and it's destroying more startups than almost any other single piece of advice out there. As someone who's been documenting my own startup experiments, I've watched this advice turn focused entrepreneurs into scattered, overwhelmed, broke mess makers. Unfortunately, I have fallen into this trap on several occasions, so I'm not counting myself out, and that's the reason why I decided to do this video. So let's break down exactly why this happens. First, let's understand why this advice is so tempting. More features should equal more value, right? More value should mean customers choose you over competitors. It's like the Swiss Army knife mentality. Why carry 10 tools when you can carry one that does everything? Plus, every feature request feels like validation. A customer asks for email integration. That must mean it's important. Another one's reporting dashboards. Let's add that too. Someone else needs mobile optimization. Obviously essential. In fact, in building my previous startup, every customer call that I took brought me new ideas on what to build next. And I would jump onto it even though I had tons of other features that weren't working 100%. Before you know it, you're building a monster that tries to be everything to everyone. The first problem is, one, you lose focus. When you're building everything, you're building nothing well. Your development cycles get longer, your code gets messier, and your team gets confused about priorities. I've seen startups spend 6 months building features that 5 people requested instead of perfecting the one thing that hundreds of people actually need. Once again, unfortunately, and even though I am too shy to admit, I built a startup like that in the past. The second problem is that you confuse your customers. When people land on your website and see 17 different features, their brain shuts down automatically. They don't know what you actually do or why they should care. Clear beats clever every single time. The third problem is you tend to burn money faster than you can raise it. More features means more development time, more testing, more support, more everything. You are essentially funding multiple products while only getting revenue from one confused offering. And here's the killer. You never get really good at anything. While you're building your 10th mediocre feature, your competitor is perfecting their one amazing solution. Let's look at the companies everyone points to as examples of doing everything. 1. Amazon sells everything now. Remember I said now. But Jeff Bezos started with just books. It took years before he expanded beyond that single category. Facebook now has marketplace, dating, business tools, and a dozen other features. But Mark Zuckerberg launched with one simple thing: a way for college students to connect with each other. That's it. Google now has email, cloud storage, productivity tools, and hardware. But it started with one thing: better search results. The pattern is obvious. Start with one problem, solve it better than anyone else has ever solved it. Then maybe think about problem number 2. Here's what I've learned from my own experiments. Pick one problem that people are actively paying money to solve. Build the simplest possible solution that actually fixes that problem. Make it work perfectly for a small group of people who desperately need it solved. When those people start telling their friends about your solution, when they start asking what else you can build for them, when they start offering to pay you more money, that's when you know you've earned the right to think about feature number 2, but not before that. The do everything trap feels like playing it safe, but it's actually the riskiest strategy you can choose. You're betting everything on being mediocre at many things instead of being exceptional at one thing. And here's the truth: nobody ever bought a product because it had the most features. They bought it because it solved their specific problem better than anything else. If this resonates with you, hit subscribe. I'm documenting real startup experiments and sharing the lessons that actually work for people starting from zero. And in the next video, I'm breaking down another piece of popular advice that sounds smart but destroys businesses. Drop a comment and tell me, what's the one problem your product solves better than anyone else? If you can't answer that in one sentence, you might be caught in the everything trap. Keep experimenting, keep focused, and remember, simple and effective beats complex and confusing every single time. Thank you and see you in the next video.